Bring it back home to a business where CEOs of companies with major ties to China are now starting to step down. Under Armour founder Kevin Plank is stepping down as CEO, ending his run as one of America's longest-serving top executives. He will now serve as brand chief. Now, meanwhile, Nike CEO Mark Parker is stepping down after 13 years. While both companies have had their shares of ups and downs, they also have had major stakes in China at a time when trade between the two countries has faced a number of challenges. So for more, we turn to tax attorney and author Rebecca Walser. Thank you so much for joining us, Rebecca. Love to have you here in studio on this subject. Why are the majority, what is the real reason why these CEOs of major, and we're going to talk athletic companies at this point, stepping down, and the timing of it?
Yeah, we have both Under Armour.
I know.
I always say we have both Under Armour and we have Nike, and so at the same time, and ironically, both CEOs are becoming the chairman, so it's a little bit unusual. You know, Under Armour's a little bit different. He started in his grandmother's basement in 1996. He took it public in 2005. There's been a lot of cultural changes, but when you take an international brand, and their North American sales have been very flat, and so that's the problem. You've got Lululemon and Nike in the athleisure space that have come up, 30-60% year over year, and they are basically looking at a 13% rise for the year, which is just totally not acceptable. And so then you have the China trade problems, and you add that in to already, stressed basically infrastructure, and you've got a CEO who's really got a big problem on their hands.
But the question is, is this just a natural accordance of business, or is it the decisions made by the CEO that he has caused these issues to happen? Because a lot of this trade is outside of his whole control.
Yeah, it is. What has happened, Scottie, is I don't think that the CEOs of America were ready for President Trump.
That's a good analogy. I think that's a good analysis.
They were not ready for President Trump to have the strength that he has had in attacking the unfair trade situation we've had with China for literally 25 years. And so you're talking about supply chains that are so entrenched in China that if they don't immediately start to make changes to distribution models, they're going to have a huge impact. So yes, this has been a 20-year problem in the making, and it's just this president that has brought it to the surface, and now they're like, wow, this is actually a problem. And you're starting to see, like, if we don't get a trade deal, if phase one, phase two, and phase three ultimately don't come through for us, then you're going to see a lot of problems with the market, stock share price, market capitalization, and these CEOs.
I want to go off of what you just said, because in a way, you're kind of looking at both Under Armour, Nike, and these companies that have these manufacturing units in China. They've been benefiting from it because obviously this is cheaper labor over there, not at the accountability standards for quality that we have here. So are they kind of angry? At first they came out, and Under Armour, the CEO, was actually for President Trump. Got a lot of blowback on that. Nike obviously has been against President Trump from the very beginning, or have made those political stances. So right now, are these CEOs going, you know what, it's not worth it to get political at all? Have they learned their lesson yet?
I wish they would. I mean, look at the NBA.
Keep it separate on both sides.
Look at the NBA. I mean, if we didn't learn that being in bed with China is literally a dragon, and they are showing that
we're
now.
Benefiting. American companies are benefiting from, maybe not America, but the companies are benefiting from
There's no doubt that the share price is benefiting, and that we have this.
The rich are benefiting from it.
Absolutely. And our 401ks and our, middle-class America that invest in 401ks. So yes, I cannot say that we have not benefited. Of course, we've benefited at having super cheap labor exported, and being able to get super cheap goods, cheap computers, cheap shoes, cheap clothing. All of that is absolutely been a benefit. But the problem is when you look at their Made in China 2025, Scottie, and they have a very clear, decisive plan that says we don't want to be super cheap for America anymore. We want to replace America and become the world's economic superpower and military power. And that's where the problem has to stop. And that's where President Trump has come in. So is it going to be painful? Yes, it's going to be painful to disengage. But if we don't disengage and re-engage on level playing fields, then we are on a track for China to control us. And if you can't see that just from the NBA and what happened this past 2 weeks, it's a big problem.
Well, and I think that's sort of backfired both from the Chinese perspective as well as the NBA perspective. How do these CEOs navigate this minefield that has been set up, whether it's by President Donald Trump or just the natural flow of the global trade economies right now?
It's really hard. There's no clear answer. What I can tell you is politics doesn't seem to help long term. As much as I can't stand hearing, we're going to, we can't even tweet about, Hong Kong and the protests, or we can have all of the games canceled, all the media, all the stores. It's terrible. But the fact is that, they are a huge part right now of our supply chain and our distribution, and we've got to figure out how to interact with them without having, their values come over here. We've exported our money. They've imported their step, and now they're trying to import their values. And it's not fair that we can tolerate people kneeling during our national anthem and there's no blowback, but yet now someone can't even tweet about freedom and rights.
It's different rules, different countries. At the same time, we still need to respect across the board. Rebecca,
Absolutely.
thank you like always for
thank
joining
you,
us.
Scottie. Thank you.